and welcome to another edition of Lab Rats. My name's Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And this is a show where we demystify technology. We help you buy the right product, show you how to use it effectively. Basically, do everything it takes to get you more empowered around technology.
Yes, sir.
And today, speaking of getting you empowered around technology, we're going to be looking at internet streaming devices.
Oh, I thought we were looking at the remote controls.
Well, we could be doing that too. That's part of the deal, isn't it? A lot of them. Okay, good. So, right, so television is kind of really going away, right? It's kind of like the idea of getting a cable connection or a satellite connection, so 1996.
It is fairly old school. You know, now there are still some people out there, obviously, that are going to buy the box with all of the 600 channels on it and whatnot. But I think a lot of those people, even though they're doing that, are spending a lot of their time online watching TV on their computer. Well,
especially people out there in Lab Rats land, right? I mean, really, let's face it, if you want to get your content when you want it, from where you want it, this obviously is the future, right? It's use your broadband connection to get content into your television.
Yeah, a lot of these TV shows that you would watch and you'd all sit around the TV at 10 p.m. every night are now available online for free anytime you want. Right. And oftentimes without as many commercials. So
that's right. That's right. Good. Okay, so today we're going to show you three.
We're going to talk about three separate pieces of hardware that are now out there that will help you do this in your own home.
Fantastic. Okay, all right. So there you go. There's internet streaming devices today on
Lab Rats.
Welcome back to Lab Rats. Well, before we get started, I want to talk to you about our sponsor today, and that is Internet Explorer 9.
IE9.
From Microsoft, right?
Yes.
Brand new browser coming out. In fact, it's coming out. It just came out. We like this browser. I like this browser, at least. I think you have shown warm feelings towards it relative to previous versions.
I have looked at it and looked at some of the features and thought those are pretty all right.
Yeah. Well, so this is Microsoft's tagline here is beauty of the web, and what's cool about it is they're really using IE9 to showcase the best of the web. They've made dealing with the web faster, right? They're using hardware acceleration on your Windows 7 machine these days, right? So it's faster, it's better, it's rendered in an improved fashion. It really is just a better experience all around. And so if you've sort of looked at other browsers and you haven't looked at IE in a while, you might want to look at IE9 because this is pretty impressive relative to what's come before it.
Yeah, a lot of good security upgrades. Love the fact that it does HTML5, so you got a great multimedia experience with sites that are designed for HTML5 in there as well. So.
Right. And some good tools on it too, like there's a whole new tab functionality. The add-on manager is much improved and that kind of thing. So worth a look. So why don't you zip on over to labratsonline.com/IE9, go get yourself a copy of this and try it out. See if you like it. I think you'll be impressed. So there you go, IE9, brand new from Microsoft.
Excellent.
All right, good. All right, so let's get started with today's episode. So where do you want to start? Do you want to talk about the history of set-top boxes and internet content?
Yeah. So people are probably familiar with set-top boxes for their cable. So comes in through your cable or, say, Bell Express View in Canada anyway. So like a television or Comcast, a satellite kind of thing. So there's those ones for bringing in TV. But a lot of the newer devices have been bringing it in through the internet. But beforehand in the house, there was a way to get content to your TV from your digital files, and those were devices that connected directly to your television, had a hard drive in them usually, that you had to pre-populate or push things over onto from your computer. And there were a bunch of manufacturers, we call them the sort of the generic Taiwanese manufacturers, a lot of interfaces that were just kind of yucky, hard to use, hard to get content over there, and for the most part these devices were a huge failure. It took our friends at Apple to actually do this product category right and get people interested in it, although not really necessarily to the extent that Apple was hoping for. The first version of the AppleTV came out a couple of years back now. It was hard drive based. But the whole concept was, instead of actually pushing everything onto this hard drive and then connecting it to your TV, what you're going to do is you're actually going to stream your content over your local network and bring it from your computer over to the TV that way. You'll sync the content over onto the hard drive on the Apple TV and then play it from there. So it was a streaming device locally. But the whole concept was, again, you have a device beside your television that does that with everything you need to store the content right there.
A bit of a disappointment, I think.
It's a bit of a disappointment. The people that got it really loved it. I mean, I got one of the original ones, and I've loved it ever since.
Yeah.
Just this whole concept, great interface, great ability to sync content from iTunes, so you have a bunch of your movies and music and photographs, and you could just automatically set it to sync, and you wouldn't even have to think about it; it would just happen. But yeah, as I mentioned it, as you implied there, it wasn't really widespread. Not a whole lot of people grabbed it and said, "Hey, this is great." My
experience of it was, especially in the later versions, was, I canceled my cable and satellite box, right? I used the Apple TV exclusively, and I would download whatever I wanted on demand. And my experience was generally pretty good, and my spending was, given I had a faster broadband connection, and I paid for the content that I wanted, about the same as a premium package for satellite or for cable. So I really sort of I took one piece of one bill away, and in fact, it justified my larger bandwidth connection to my provider. I took the maximum package. So that was one of the things that really sort of, it helped save some money in my household. And not quite as convenient. What that didn't work for, I found, was like live events. So if you want to watch live sports, live breaking news, that kind of thing, obviously doesn't support it. But TVs and movies, absolutely great.
Right, and I think one of the things you mentioned there is one of the key things that happened between the original launch of the Apple TV and where you got on. You still got on with the first box with the hard drive built in. We're going to talk about the newer version of it in a few seconds here. But the ability to actually go out and buy a TV show. So instead of having to spend $60 to $100 a month on your cable bill, just so you could watch that one show you liked, you could actually download them episode by episode. So you might spend $60 on the whole season of that show. And if you were watching a whole lot of TV, like tons and tons and tons of shows, then it may not be so economical when you're paying show by show. But you could also get season passes to bring that price down.
That's right. Yeah.
If you were like a casual watcher or an intermediate watcher, obviously buying one by one is a much more economical thing than dropping $100, maybe even $150 a month if you want the premium channels.
Right, got it, yeah, got it, good,
okay. So Apple looked at this and said, okay, people aren't getting it. They're not buying the device, and why not? Okay, well, first of all, the device beforehand with the hard drive on it was about $200, maybe a little bit more if you got the higher capacity version of it. And that was too much to
It started at $350, I think, and then the price came down to like $240 or $230 or something like that.
Yeah, so even at the end when they were bringing the price down, it still was way too high for people. And then I think they were looking at the usage patterns of this as well and realizing, okay, well, people were just buying a bunch of stuff off the net. They're not really streaming stuff from their own local boxes. And they thought, okay, well, we have the iTunes store. Instead of pushing it to your computer and then having you push it to the box, why don't we just stream it directly from iTunes straight to the box? So we've got now the new Apple TV, which is about a quarter of the size, physically speaking. It eliminated the ability to buy, and it's just all rental all the time on this. You can still buy on iTunes and then push it over from your computer if you want. But you can buy the box for $99 now, which is half the price or less of the original thing. It doesn't have any hard drive on it. It's got about 8 gigabytes of storage strictly for buffering, because obviously you have to download and then stream it to the TV from there. So it does have a bit of memory, but again, the old one where you just have like tons and tons and tons of stuff just sitting there on your box waiting for you to press play, not the case anymore.
Right, got it. Okay, good. So something that you'd recommend?
Definitely. I think if you've got an iTunes account and you're already watching content from there, it's a nice addition. It has everything you want. So again, you have movies. You can download a bunch of current movies that are out on DVD now and also out digitally speaking. You've got TV shows here that you can, again, rent and watch straight here. You've got internet, so you have the ability to watch Netflix here. It's integrated the service right onto the box. Same with YouTube. And you can also get to podcasts. So if you want to go looking for podcasts on here, you can actually search through all of the things that are in the iTunes store, which it's formidable. There's a lot of stuff there, and then go looking. So one of the big problems, of course, is just the buffering time here, obviously, when you're going to the net, if you have a slow connection or things are busy on your network neighborhood. So, but then there's that. So you can search for Butterscotch under podcasts and see all of our stuff there, Android Weekly, Lab Rats, it's all there. And again, we have the ability to go to computers. If you have computers connected in your local area, mine's at home for this, so you can search through all of the stuff that's available on your iTunes. And then, of course, the settings here for setting up things. Now, you notice down here we've got something called AirPlay. This is something that allows you to transfer and stream music directly from your iPhone or your iPad straight from it to the TV. So if you have a movie playing, you can actually put it over there as well. So that's a really nice touch that none of the rest of the devices here have that ability.
Little tip on that, though, and that is that, so I have the Apple TV, right, connected. I have an Apple device, a computer. Well, I have, you know, both an Apple TV and also obviously Windows 7 running iTunes and that sort of thing. I just recently moved, and my old router was an Apple router, right? And I haven't connected. That's still at the old house before. I haven't connected it at my new place, so I'm using a new router that's not Apple branded, and AirPlay is very, very choppy.
Yes.
Right. So, you know, if you're going to use AirPlay and take advantage of it, it's a great feature, but you kind of need Apple hardware all the way through. So you need the Apple TV, you need iTunes on your machine, and you need an Apple router. That's my experience of it anyway. Right. So.
Yes, there we go. So now there's been some talk about this. Obviously, this is using the cloud in general to get content to your Apple TV. So as we tape this, we're just waiting on the edge of our seat for information from WWDC, which is Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference.
Right,
and they're going to be talking about iCloud, which...
A rare situation, because Apple doesn't usually pre-announce they're going to talk about products, but this time they have. By the time you see this, potentially, they will have announced iCloud. Now, iCloud potentially is this place, you space out on the internet that you can store all of your music, and the theory is eventually maybe TV and video, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say until they do get up there and announce the exact specifics. There's a lot of talk around the net about what it's going to be. But yeah, definitely they're sort of aiming at music right now, if the talk is to be believed. But then it makes sense. Like right now, you can buy a television show, put it on your computer, and then stream it. Well, why not just buy it on the cloud and then leave it in your locker online so that you can access it any time?
Right, good.
Instead of having to always stream it down over and over and over again and pay for it over and over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. So. Good stuff. Okay, great. What's next?
All right, well, next up we have another box called Roku. So we're going to switch over to this device here. Roku is a company that you may remember back from the day. They were an audio streaming company. So they had something called the SoundBridge. It was a little tube with an LED display
awesome.
on the front.
It's very cool.
And yeah, you could just stream all of your music from elsewhere in the house. Now again, this is one of those situations where you had your content on the computer and you streamed it to this device elsewhere in the house. But also you had the ability to stream internet radio stations. So again, they took this whole thing to heart, getting information from the world out there. People wanted to get internet radio, and they wanted to bring content in from elsewhere. And they realized that video is the way things are going as well. So they said at some point, skip all of that audio stuff. Let's move over to the world of video. So now they've got this device called the Roku. It's the XDS, and they've got several different versions of the XD. So starts at $69, goes up to $99. So at the highest price, it's the same price as the new version of the Apple TV. So it's a bit cheaper on the lower end, but then you don't get as high a video quality out to the television. It goes to 720p all the way up to 1080p if you go up onto the higher end versions of it.
Right.
And this is very much a channel-based solution. So rather than the iTunes model where you have your Apple TV and you can pull from your computer and you can pull from the iTunes store, this one pulls from channels out there, from content providers and partners. So we have here, flip through here and see the ones that are on here by default and some of the ones we've added. So we've got NASA, we've got a USB media player, so you can actually hook in, on the highest end version of this, you can hook in a USB drive and then scan them directly. You can't pull from other places in the house at this point, but you can pull directly from a USB that's connected directly to that. Not 100% ideal, but it is available. And then paid services like Netflix and MLB TV where you can subscribe to it. Some of these are geo-locked. Again, like Hulu, you can play this in the States but not in Canada. You try to activate it here, it just says, sorry, you can't do that.
Right. But wait a second, what about the Butterscotch channel?
Well, it's funny you should ask that, Andy. You can add a bunch of channels. So these ones that are here aren't the only ones you're going to see. So you go through to Channel Store, and it'll start downloading a list of all the channels that are out there. And again, it might take a little bit of time to pull it if your connection is slow, because there's a lot of them out there. And we will look for this. So you would look through the Channel Store in a bunch of categories here, like we have here. So we've got featured at the top. We've got new. These are ones that are just added to this. The most popular one, top rated. So you can look to see, okay, what are my friends and the other users really getting into. So we can go down a little bit, and again, you can scroll off to the side. We've actually got games. So one of the nice things about this is the ability to actually play applications here. Right. And that's one of the things about the Apple TV. There's talk that maybe iOS 5 will be coming out and sort of feature integration onto the Apple TV and maybe play apps. Stay tuned. We don't really know. But this one does games already. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to Science and Technology, and we're actually going to go down to Special Interest. We're going to work on getting this fixed up and put it into Science and Tech. But right now, we're just going to scroll over until we get to Butterscotch. Right. Look at that rating there, 5 stars. I'm actually quite pleased about that. So you find it, click OK on there to click through, and you can rate it or add it. So click on that and click OK. And it's going to add the channel. It's going to download it. Now it gives us the ability to remove it or to go to it, which I'd rather do because I just added it. I don't want to remove it yet. So we're going to go to it. It's going to bring in the content like so. And then you'll see it's going to load in our particular interface. Our colleague Greg has put this together behind the scenes. And we've got, in this case, a very much, again, a channel-based format. So in addition to the Butterscotch network, we have all of these sub-channels, which are our shows. So we've got Android Weekly, we've got 60-second app Android in the regular edition, we've got Lab Rats, of course, we've got which is our on-the-go show, and a few others here as well. So again, to play one of these things, you'll just click through, you'll see the episode listing, and then you can play through one of the episodes and it'll just start playing it.
Very cool.
So there you go, the Butterscotch channel and channels in general. So this is how Roku does its business. So it sort of eliminates this whole channel flipping motif that you have, just like on board, just move to the next thing. So, but you set your favorite channels in your networks and then you can go from there.
Good, fantastic, okay, good. All right, and then finally, the third box we want to kind of, sort of in the running, I guess, for this marketplace.
Yeah, now this one's a little bit more of an enthusiast solution. Now the first two that we looked at, $99 or less. This one, over $200, and this is the Boxee Box from D-Link and Boxee. So Boxee, you might remember the name, they were a company that did software solution beforehand. The Boxee software that you could load onto your Mac Mini, you could load it onto your Windows machine, you could load it onto the Apple TV, and it would actually run this interface for playing media files on those devices. So again, kind of channel-based, but it also allows you to add apps as well. So, and it's refined quite a bit since that point. So instead of just being something that you would download and put onto another device yourself, which you can still do, you can actually buy the Boxee Box if you want to just have a device that has it already on board and you don't want to think about installing it and modifying it and all of the other stuff that goes with building your own contraptions. So it's a little bit of a strangely shaped device, but it does have all of the content on there. So we've got shows that we can click through, a bunch of streaming content, again, from networks out there that partner up with Boxee, and it will vary from region to region depending on where you are, what you'll see, and how it'll show up. You've got movies as well. You got friends list right here, which is really nice. It's got a bit of a social networking aspect to it, so you can actually see who your friends on Facebook are watching and flagging. You can actually connect directly with friends on Boxee, create friendships with people that also use Boxee, and then recommend to each other that way. And the other thing that I like here, we'll go back to home again, is a watch later functionality. So if you see something on there and you want to watch it later and you don't want to forget it, but you don't have time for it now, you can just flag it and say watch later, and then go to this list here that says watch later, and then it'll all appear here, and then you can watch it whenever you like. And the neat thing about this is, I alluded to this a few episodes back in one of our other things, one of our other episodes, you actually have the ability to do this from a browser. So if you're on YouTube and you see something you want to watch from YouTube later on your Boxee device, you can actually click on a little button that says watch later once you install it into your browser, and then it'll push it directly to this list.
Very cool.
And
what about Butterscotch?
Butterscotch. Funny you should mention Butterscotch. So again, from the main screen, you've got this thing called Apps. And Apps allows anybody to create one. Roku is a little bit curated at this point. So they have a lot of content there, but not as much as Boxee. You can actually add things from repositories, and that's a Linux term. So if you know that something is out there, even though it's not in their curated version here, you can still add it. So we're going to go down the apps list, and we can see Butterscotch right over at the far end over here. So if we click on that, we can launch it. You'll check every time just to make sure that there's not a new version of the software out there. So if someone decides that they need to upgrade their application, you don't have to think about it. It'll just automatically do that for you. So here we do have a list of all of the
recent shows.
The recent shows. So this again is being this is a work in progress for us right now. This is the first step, and then it'll be much more channel based, like it is on the Roku as well later on.
Yeah, we're working on version 2.0. It'll be out in the next few weeks or so.
Yeah. So again, you have these apps that are user or company designed that give access to their content.
Very
and
cool.
then again, we just click on something, and we have the ability to play it. Or, as I mentioned up here, get some more information about it, watch later, say that we watched it, or share it with our friends. So
very cool.
We have a lot of content here, or a lot of ways to share and watch content.
Fantastic.
Now, at $250,
it's worth every penny to get butterscotch.
Yeah, it is a lot more powerful than the other ones. I will say this: you can share from your drives, like network-attached drives around the house. You can just point to a network-attached share, which you can't do with the Apple TV or the Roku. You can connect directly to a USB drive. You can connect directly to an SD card that you can stick in a slot on the side. There's just a lot more options on this one, and it may be more than some people need. Oh, and it's got a little keyboard on the back of the remote as well, which is really nice for being able to interact directly with it instead of like click, 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 and just mouse over using your menu system like button.
Yeah, that's cool.
So.
Good stuff.
There you go. Boxee
Thank
Box.
you, Sean. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we got we got clip of the week and your pictures. That's after this. Well, welcome back to Lab Rats. So before we go to our clip of the week, just a bottom line, I guess, is there a who should buy what?
All right. Well, I think definitely the Apple TV is your best choice for the weighing up the features, content, and the price. So it's at $99. It's not a bad price. It's got a lot of content through Apple, and it's going to be the easiest to use for most people out there, I think.
Right.
Roku, on the other hand, is a really good price at $69, even though you're not getting as much quality out to the TV. I mean, it's still not bad. But and the channel configuration that's got sort of best simulates the world of television, I think. So if you're comfortable with that and you have $69 in your pocket, it's a really great choice.
It's a good add-on, really.
It's a great add-on for your TV.
Especially if you consume a lot of web media.
Yeah, and if you have no real desire to buy things from iTunes Store and stream it to your TV, or to push things from around other places in your house, it's a great choice. It's just add channel, start watching.
Okay.
Now, in terms of the enthusiasts are going to want the Boxee Box because it is the biggest, bestest, and most grandiose of the boxes. It allows you to do a whole lot of stuff. It allows you to modify it in ways with repositories. It's just, if you're a Linux nerd, you'll probably want to play with this. Or build your own. You can build your own if you don't want to spend the money on this.
So Lab Rats, land folks should look at the Boxee Box, you think?
Yeah, probably.
Generally? Okay, good. All right, well, there you go. So, and what best value? I guess the best value would be like the Roku $69, right?
That's the best value. The best. We always used to have the scale, and I was still working at the computer paper. The best value, that's the Roku. The best balance is the Apple TV, and the highest performance, that's the Boxee Box.
There you go.
So, and all of them will do streaming services as well. So you've got your Major League Baseball, your Netflix, all of the other things. So you don't have to worry about that. From that perspective. Well, actually, the Apple TV doesn't do Major League Baseball. I'll put that. But Netflix, all of them do that. All of them will do YouTube stuff. That kind of thing.
Speaking of Netflix, of course, a streaming content service, movies and TV. That's a nice segue into our clip of the week, which is Andrew Moore Crispin doing Netflix on your iPhone, I think, isn't it right, Paul?
iPad.
On your iPad, right? iPad,
yes.
Perfect. Okay, so let's have a look at that. And then when we come back, your pictures.
Welcome on deck. I'm Matt Harris.
Hi, I'm Jay Goldman.
Welcome to the A-List. Hi, welcome to Miss Download.
Netflix is awesome. Stream any TV show or movie available on the service straight to your PC. Now, if you have an Xbox 360, a Wii or a PS3, or another Netflix-enabled device, you can stream straight to your TV too. If you've got an iPhone or iPad, you can stream straight onto your handheld. Log in with your Netflix username and password, and the whole Netflix streaming library is available. On the Home tab, you'll see movies and shows that Netflix has picked for you based on your preferences and things you've watched up to now. Under genres, you can drill down into different categories. If you're looking for a comedy, just tap the menu item and scroll through the available options.
Welcome back to Lab Rats. So you can check out that entire clip over at butterscotch.com and check it out on this URL right here to make it easy for you to get to it. And that, of course, is the 60-second app, which is a series that we have here covering both Android and iPhone. So check it out on butterscotch.com.
Yes, sir. Now we have a couple of things to clarify here.
Yes, we do.
Because we were sort of making a mess of things right before the break here, where we were talking about who had what. I was making a mess of things.
You were, just to be clear.
Yeah. I was. Okay, so there have been some changes in the last month.
Yes.
Now, first of all, Apple TV does do MLB.
Yes.
That's a new update that they've just launched recently. So if you don't see MLB on there and you're in the States and have access to MLB channel, update your Apple TV because it'll show up.
And for those of folks that are not in North America, MLB, Major League Baseball, just so you know.
Right. And like Netflix, this is a subscription-based service, so you have to have authentication with their service, just like with Netflix. You have to have credentials to log on.
Yeah.
Now, we said that YouTube was on all of them. It's not on all of them. They were forced to take it off of Roku. Google said, get it off of there. And so it's gone.
I got it.
So there you go. So
Okay,
things that I thought were correct that are no longer correct. It's a never-changing world out there.
It is, it is. And you know, you'll be wrong again because somebody will change something in about half an hour.
Just imagine if you went to your TV at home and your cable no longer carried NBC. It's just like you'd go nuts.
That's true.
But it happens, I guess.
All right, good. All right, so speaking of, there's no nice segue here, so just let's move straight to, I was going to say, speaking of problems, it's not a problem. This is a wonderful part of the show. It's called picture time.
Yes, sir.
And we have an extra special picture today, which I just love this picture. Who is this?
Well, this is from our friend Danik, who is in New Hampshire.
Oh my God!
And they just had a litter of purebred Chihuahuas.
Yeah, so cute.
And he says they are referred to as the rat dogs.
Well, good. We love rats.
Yeah, I guess they're kind of like little rats.
Yeah, look. Oh, so cute. What are their names? Do we know their names?
We don't know their names except for rat dogs.
Rat dogs.
Rat dogs.
Could we name them?
Andy, Sean, and Paul.
There you go. Yay! From left to right.
I'm in the middle.
Yes, you are.
All right.
Snuggly.
All right.
Thank you. It's Danik, right?
Danik.
Danik, thank you so much for sending that in. Now, if you want to have your puppies show up on Live Rats and Picture Time, you can email them to
Rat dogs are super fantastic, and they'll be on here, and you don't have to even name them Sean, Paul, and Andy at liverats.tv.
Yeah, or more simply,
feedback at liverats.tv.
There you go. So send in your pictures. We would always love to see them. Your kids, your pets, your rats, your elephants, your stuffed animals, whatever you want. All right, great. So good episode today. Thanks for that demo. It's really great. Don't forget, of course, you guys can get Butterscotch and Lab Rats on all of these devices, one way or another. So we love you. If you do go out and buy one of these things, make sure you subscribe. It's free. There's no charge. But we'd love you to consume our sponsors, as always. And don't forget to go download Internet Explorer 9. That's labratsonline.com/IE9. So
that's easy.
It is very easy. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much. And it'd be foolish for us to be here showing you set-top boxes if you weren't out there going, I should get rid of my cable and satellite. There's so much great stuff on the internet. My name's Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
We'll see you next time.
Woof, woof.